Go ahead.
Zach, is he still in front of him?
He's working through it, making progress.
So what is that?
Limited today.
Limited today.
Yep. Same with Taj Brooks, same category. Both making good progress.
Will Trey Hendrickson practice today?
No.
Stands out about the building.
A lot of this group has been around for a while. I know some of them have left and come back, but they've had a lot of continuity over there. I know they've added a couple new pieces, but they've done a good job. Sean's been a part of that defense, obviously, for 9 years now. Bobby Babbitt has been there, I think, the entirety of the time as well. So a lot of continuity over there, a lot of veterans that know how to do it, a lot of young guys that they're working into the mix as well. So just a really, really solid group that makes things difficult for you.
Why do you think yourself, Dan Pitcher, and Joe Burrow work so well together as a group?
Well, I think like anything, we've been together a long time. Pitch has been here since before I got here. We made him the quarterback coach right when Joe walked in the door. So that relationship has just continued to grow over Joe's tenure here. I like to think it's guys that, we can adapt to each other and work well with each other. And put Brad Craigthorpe in that mix. You put Jake Browning in that mix. You put Joe Flacco in that mix as well. So I just think that it's people that like working together, see things the same way. Everyone's got input. Everybody I just mentioned has input on how we do it. I don't think there's any egos involved there with how it needs to be done. And we're able to try to problem solve during the week and during the game as well and try to get the best result.
Why do you think that matters or plays a role in Joe being able to take that one half where it's a little bit rusty and then hit the ground running second half in Baltimore?
I think we keep things fluid during games and always want his feedback. That's one thing I learned early in my career as a quarterback coach is if you got a quarterback that's earned the respect to give his voice, then you listen to it. He's the guy that's out there who's got to do it and problem solve and get it done. And so we've always made it a point to give Joe that voice, and he earned it really from day one when he got here. And so you're able to I thought he played well, but to work through any issues, sometimes there's going to be some holes in the action, or maybe you have a 3 and out or 2 and you need to find a rhythm. And you maybe have this plan you set in place to go do it, but hey, Joe, what do you need to get us going here? And he's always really good with the feedback on that.
With concussion protocol, does T or any player, do they have to clear it before they can be a full participant in practice? Is that how that works?
Correct.
Zach, now that we're into the week and the weather here has presented some conditions that are, I don't want to say equivalent to what it'll be like in Buffalo, but closer maybe. How much thought do you give to taking advantage of that in the sense of exposing your guys to it? I think it's supposed to snow again this week. Would you ever consider taking them out?
We're always very mindful. I like to be outside every week.
Yeah.
Not every day necessarily, but you like to get out there at some point. I think I told our players, great news. It's going to be cold in Buffalo, and it's going to be cold here the next couple of days. And so they were excited to hear that. So we get a chance to get out there and work in the elements. And so we're always very mindful of where we're going to play and how we need to practice and like to get outside. The players like being outside, at least for part of the week. And I don't like to be inside every day if we can avoid it. Sometimes you can't avoid it.
Why do you think the North is so wide open this year?
I mean, it's still tough teams. I mean, I don't think anybody likes rolling into the AFC North and playing any of the 4 of us. So, I think it's well-coached teams, top players, a lot of experience. It's always been a tough division.
Y'all are able to go out and get a win on Sunday. What kind of momentum do you think this could give you, knowing what y'all still have in front of you the rest of the year?
Our biggest focus right now is just finding a way to beat Buffalo and take it from where it goes from there. But right now, that's really all that matters.
What stands out about James Cook when you watch him and how he's kind of evolved as a player?
Yeah, a lot of strengths. I think I can list a lot of attributes that make him. He's got great patience and vision and quickness and acceleration and play strength. So, I mean, you can just go on and name every intangible and physical trait you want a running back to have. He has it. A lot of confidence in the scheme. I know from working with Aaron Cromer in the past, their line coach, he does a great job. And Joe Brady painting a vision for what they want in the run game and how it's supposed to be from a technique standpoint, where it's supposed to hit. And so you've seen backs have success, and so I don't think that's shocking. It's not even just him. he's a great back, but the other backs get in there and do a great job as well. So really dangerous attack.
How challenging is it when you're dealing with an elite quarterback, but then you also have to deal with a rushing attack?
It's why they've been one of the top offenses consistently over as long as I've been a head coach here. And so they've got great talent. They're well coached. They've got a lot of confidence, and they can throw the ball. They can run the ball. They do a great job.
Where do you feel like your run defense is at right now? You talked about sort of gradual improvement generally, but specifically in that phase, are there things you're still looking for, or where do you think that group's at?
Just continue to grow, and every week presents a new challenge. It's you go from Pittsburgh to Baltimore to Buffalo, and everything's got its unique challenges in terms of what plays they're actually calling and how they're going to attack you different ways. And so challenging. And then the quarterback, they're not afraid to run the quarterback either. So you get to, third and less than 5, and you might have a quarterback run coming at you. You're in the low red zone, you got a quarterback run coming at you. So they're not afraid to do that. That's an extra hat for them that makes it really challenging when they're willing to do that. So again, our guys feel like they got a great plan in place. Now we just got to go execute it over the week.
How does defending Josh Allen fit into your run defense?
We play several quarterbacks that present challenge. They're outstanding throwers and really challenging runners. And so you have to be mindful when his progression's out there. He's not afraid to put his foot in the ground and go get it, and then try to run through people as well. So he's a challenge to deal with.
I don't know if you can answer this, but how often do you see on film where maybe his second or third progression is actually to run the ball, or his second or third?
No, I think he's I've seen him get through every progression he's got, exhaust the entire thing, and stand back there and play quarterback. I think like any quarterback that's got experience like he does, they can identify the coverage very quickly and say, okay, I can get 1-2 and go, and there's going to be a void there. And other times they just know they got that innate feel of time in the pocket, coverage where I don't need to run. I can sit back here and exhaust my progression. So he's got the experience to do all that, and it makes him really challenging.
McPherson's having a heck of a season. How has that impacted just the way you can call and manage a game?
I have a ton of confidence in him. I don't think it's overall affected a whole lot of decisions we've made. I don't. I have confidence in him. I can't think of one moment where it's, should we go for this? No, Evan's going to make a 50-something yarder. I don't feel like there's been as many decisions as maybe past years. It feels that way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe as I reflect back on the season, I'd have 4 good answers for you. But he's playing with a ton of confidence. You see it in practice too. That's what you all don't see. He's doing this in practice. He's been doing this since training camp. The same consistency, and then going out there in the game and giving our team a lot of confidence.
You're a good reader of games when they unfold. Do you ever get a sense, in Baltimore, hey, this is going to be let's get points. This is going to be a let's get points game, or this is going to be a let's go for it.
Yeah, that's what it turned into. You don't always predict that. I think a lot of times against Baltimore, you always, both teams are capable of scoring, and both teams can play great defense too. So you got to feel that as the game goes. And
was there a point where you said, let's get points?
Yeah, I think that second or third drive, our defense, outside of the first drive when they scored the touchdown, we'd got some stops, and again, I don't know that it influenced necessarily all the decisions, but you felt like let's just keep taking points and building from there, and our defense is playing well.
Why do you think it takes some young guys a little bit longer to realize how important the details are and consistency is? Why do you think it just maybe clicked for some people later rather than sooner?
That's a hard one to answer. I think it's probably pretty rare for a guy to come in his first year and just everything click for him. And, I can't give you a great answer on why. It could be different positions. It could be different personalities. It could be different college experience. It could be a guy that transferred, didn't transfer. But I can think of examples of all of them, of guys that succeeded and didn't, and they all have different backgrounds. So I don't know. I like to think as they get more experience on the field with us, then they got a better chance of succeeding. And so we've tried to give guys that experience to keep learning and keep gaining, and there's going to be mistakes made. I've said that in here a million times, but you keep seeing guys just continue to grow and get better, and they've got that opportunity, and I don't think that they fear failure with us. I don't think that they feel like if I go in there and make a mistake, I'm done. They're going to be done with me. That's not really the approach we have. We like to keep coaching through it and coach in a we're going to be critical of mistakes you make, but at the same time be positive and encourage the growth. And again, not let guys just fear failure that I'm not going to get to see the field again.
How tough is that for you? Because obviously there's a lot of pressure on you as well as a head coach and coaching staff.
Yeah.
When things don't go well, how do you kind of
You just do what's
balance
right. I don't worry about the pressure. It's on me. You make the right decision for the program. And as long as you're just making those decisions, then I like to think more times than not the best case scenario is going to play out for you.
What has Dalton Reisner meant to this offense over the past few years?
Tremendous leadership, experience, energy. He's just done a great job. He's really a really good example of that room, because I think you're going to describe every player in that room the same way. And so for Dalton to be the last added piece to that, he just has walked in the door and fit right in, and really happy we have him. Have enjoyed him being around, enjoyed the role he's playing for us. But I think he's just a great example of what that O-line room really is, and it's all great personalities, guys that love football, guys that really understand, have a high football IQ, and so it's a good group to be around.
The December run, if it's going to happen, it's going to fall on the offensive line at least to a degree. You want the run game going. You want to protect Joe. How confident are you in just that group and how they've kind of become what they are now?
Yeah, a lot of confidence. They have a lot of confidence. I think the offensively, we've got a lot of confidence in them. The team's got a lot of confidence in them. They played well, but again, it's the preaching to the whole team right now. It doesn't matter what we did last week. We got to keep doing it over and over again. And so we can't just assume because we did some good things on Thursday night that's going to carry over to Sunday. Our guys understand that. I think that's why we've always kind of been strong later in the season. Our guys have had a great approach to that, and this year's a new year, and we're going to have to have the same approach.
Pitch was talking about Dalton's intangibles, and he pointed out that he's always the first one to the spot and tackle, helping the guy up. When you were playing quarterback, how much did you take note of that? Who was there?
Oh, yeah. No, you feel that. Guys that take a lot of pride in protecting the guys behind them. And whether that's backs, receivers, picking up receivers down the field, or being the first one to pick up the quarterback. You know, it's you like a guy that's got that protective nature to him, and cover down the field is how we define that. And I think Dalton is a great example of that.
How closely do you monitor a rookie like Jalen Rivers, who had seemed to be making a lot of progress?
Yeah.
And you make that change. Do you monitor how he's doing along with Scott?
Well, I think part of Jalen got banged up, and so that's what led to the change. Jalen's got a tremendous mindset, so I don't worry about him. He's making great progress this year. I got a lot of confidence in him. He's going to get a ton of opportunity. So that's not a concern of mine, just because of who he is and kind of the work he's put in to get where he's at. He played tackle for us early in the year, then we moved him to guard, and he's handled all that really well. And so I think he's a guy that is going to play a big role for us.
Do you see any similarities with the Buffalo offense this summer?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly plays and concepts that show up. I think, they suited around their quarterback. We suit ours around our quarterback, and they're both really talented quarterbacks. To say they have different play styles, there's a lot of similarities that they have, and then there's some differences they have. I'm not going to get into all of them, but so I think that they do what's best for their offense led by their quarterback, and we do what's best for our offense led by our quarterback.
What's the biggest impact you think Scott Peters has had on the offensive line room this year?
I think he's done a great job getting the best out of all these guys. The development of the young players, we've had several young players come in and play, and I think they've only gotten better. I think as our line as a whole, it's a really cohesive unit. It's improved overall from top to bottom. So I think he's done a really good job.
Ken Anderson's a finalist for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, about time.
What's been your
I know he's been in before, but
what's been your interaction with Ken like over the years?
tremendous. Huge fan of Ken Anderson. He's always been great to me through good times and bad. He's an example of a guy, when we've struggled, who was there still supporting me, genuinely supporting me and our team and the direction we're headed. And so you really, I genuinely appreciate people like that. Ken and I have always had a great relationship through his foundation, through him just coming to practice, through text messages. And so I have done my own research. I mean, he absolutely should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. He should absolutely be in now. I mean, statistically, he's in a better position than a lot of people that are in it. NFL MVP, Man of the Year, led his team to a Super Bowl. I mean, all the great performance, the completion percentage, everything he's done statistically he should be in there right now. So this year is the year he absolutely should be in it. If he's not, then it's a shame.
Do you see him as a guy that can play now and still be?
Well, I'm not going to pretend like I've dug through all of his tape and watched it all, but I just know statistically when you look at how he played, I mean, and then people that are in, it's just he deserves to be in, absolutely. And so, and he did it over a long period of time. I mean, he did it over a really long period of time. So, look forward to seeing him get in there.
St. X and Anderson playing for state championships the next couple of days. Will you be pulling for both those?
Absolutely, yeah. Travis Brammer, his son played at Anderson last year, so I know he still goes to a lot of the games, and I've been following Anderson all year. They have a tremendous team, and I think they're playing the same team they played last year, if I'm not mistaken. I know they're practicing at 5:53 a.m. this year, 7 minutes earlier. I saw that. So definitely pulling for Anderson, definitely pulling for St. X. Got a lot of people that I know that are there. And so 2 great nights of football, Thursday and Friday. And I hope I'm not missing anybody else in the area. But those are 2 teams that I feel like I've really followed over the last couple of years. And great football coming from the Cincinnati area. So it'll be fun to watch.
Tight end position is big. In the NFL, it's gotten big back again. Both these teams have good tight ends and a strong position group. What do you think about Buffalo's tight ends? What are their strengths?
Yeah, good group. I think they complement each other really well. The group of guys that they have. I know Kincaid's been out. He's always been a guy that we've been a big fan of. Again, they've got good depth there. Those guys all understand their role. They've gotten a lot out of that position. And just like we have, I think James Casey, I've always said this is the best tight end coach in the NFL and does a great job developing, getting the most out of guys that we have, whether they were guys that have been here throughout or guys that we added in free agency. They've always had their top years playing for James. And so I think it's two teams that are well coached that position and have gotten a lot of value out of those guys. Okay, thank you.